Morning.
Morning. This is how to do the bun.
From
From start to finish. First, I get my hair sopping wet. I take a shower. And then, I brush my hair out. This is a very important step, and it needs to be very thorough, because you can do this hairstyle with your hair wet or dry. It just has to be really brushed out. I find it, if you do it wet, it comes out cleaner. But if you do it dry and you use enough gel and hairspray, it can look the same. Alright, so we do that. Forgot one step. I use a little bit of leave-in conditioner. And then I brush that through even more. Go birds.
Go birds.
Go birds. Alright. At this point, you look at your part if you have a part. You can do this without a part. And you reassess, and you make sure that shit is smooth. Alright. I'm not too picky with it, I'm gonna be honest. Then you brush it even more. This entire video is just gonna be me brushing my hair.
I mean,
Get your hair done.
you have a lot of hair.
I do got a lot of hair. I don't know what this hairstyle looks like if you don't have a lot of hair, I'll be honest, but. And I'm right now brushing with that large paddle brush just to get basic shape of a ponytail. I'm teaching how to do a ponytail. I usually do my bun fairly low, so I start here. And guess what? More brushing. Fun fact about me, I didn't know how to do a ponytail until I was about 13 years old. My mom used to do my hair. I didn't even know how to use a hair tie. Okay, so now once we get like a basic shape, you're gonna take any kind of boar's brush, sleek brush, and you're gonna start sleeking that shit down. And you have to get as close to your part as possible, so it's really smooth. And you wanna use a good amount of pressure so it pulls it back really nice and tight. I thought my hand to go underneath, but okay. And honestly, your ponytail doesn't have to be perfect because it is mostly going to be going underneath a bun, but if it's a good base, it'll be a good bun. So I just keep brushing it until I like it. Okay. Then, take an even smaller bristle brush, and I go on even tighter and I pull that shit back. This is satisfying to watch.
Yes.
I've never seen it from the back. The hardest part of this hairstyle is you don't really see what you're doing. You just kind of do it. So, okay. Then it's good as it's gonna get. I take a pretty tight hold of it. Ponytail that shit. It's okay if it's slightly to the left of your head. It doesn't have to be completely center, because the majority of your hair is actually going to go to the right, but you want the left. Right. Perfect. Okay. Cool hair. Alright. You want to keep that as tight to your head as possible. I then go through and I sleek it down even more, because this part right here is going to get hidden underneath the bun, so you want to hide all the imperfections back there. And this is where I apply my first layer of gel. I just use like a little, probably that much. You can change it based on how much you want it to be slicked down all day, or if you want it to like rise up a little bit. And I just apply it to the center of the part, because that's where my little hairs poke out, and towards the face framing area. Just kind of swap that in. And then I again go with the sleek brush and push it down. Then I take the bulk of the ponytail and I brush it out. But I make sure to hold on to it so it doesn't like fall down my head. And you want as little top knots as possible. Flip to the side. Okay, so this is over my right shoulder right now. And once I like the look of the ponytail. Tighten it again. And then I sleek her out, especially starting from the top, because this is where you're going to actually see it in the bun. You're going to push it like that. Okay. Then you're going to take the giant piece of hair that is here, and you're going to rotate it clockwise. So I'm rotating it away from my face. And at this point, you just want to make sure there's no bumps in it, because they're going to be hard to hide otherwise. Like that. And I continue to kind of brush the little tail end so it stays nice and smooth. You want this somewhat tight, but able to still move around your head, because I'm going to show you what you're going to do next. Take a little. Don't want to rush the process. You want even pressure on this little like rope you got building, because you're going to push it around your head like this. And then you want this as flat as possible. And you're going to press it down. While you press it down, you're going to put a little pin in it. And then I put a shit ton of pins in my hair. So I just go around, go like that. And it's not going to look perfect, and it doesn't matter, but you just want it basic shape. I know I'm hiding half of it, but I'm putting pressure on it so it stays down. Because the most important part of the bun is right here, because it's like your base. Perfect. All right, and then you take this side of your, and you keep wrapping it. Make sure those tangles are out. You wrap it around the back. And again, you want it as flat as possible against your head. You don't want it to be like a 3D bun, you want it as flat against your head as possible. Okay. You can take a little piece. The hardest part is you're doing this completely blind. You can't see what's going on back there, but it's not that hard. You're just going in a circle with your hair, so. And then we start getting into a little bit of hair. This might happen sooner for you if you have shorter hair, or you might have a slightly longer bun if you are of longer hair. And at some point when I feel like it's not even like showing shape anymore, I hide it underneath the layer before. So you see we're kind of losing shape here. So you want to hide the ends. Make sure you get these smaller ends completely tucked underneath the bun. And then this is where I just secure shit out of the bun. By putting pressure on the bottom, it makes it so it's flatter against my head. As you can see, it's coming together. Then I kind of just look for holes here and just so it all has pretty much the same amount of bobby pin. Right. I notice I put a little bit more on the bottom because that's where the weight of the bun is going. But so that's the bun. And then what I usually do at this point is I have a hairspray that I'll link below. I'll spray it, I'll smooth it out a little bit more. If I don't have hairspray because like I'm on a trip or something and I don't want to bring it, I take a little blop of that and then I just re-up on the part of my head here just to keep it nice and smooth taut.
And what brand of gel do you use?
I'll link it below. I love her. She doesn't make it crunchy, so like at the end of today, if I want to say let's go out in San Francisco, which I'm going to do tonight, I can just take her out. Yeah, I'll have absolutely no volume in my hair, but it won't be crunchy or dandruffy. It'll just be smooth, which I like. Okay, then I got these guys on Amazon. I just put them in right here. I got one right there. Then I put the other one like right on top of it. Just like that. Just a little. And that's how you do the bun.
Yay!
Yay!